What's up guys, welcome back to another video. NHL 19 has officially dropped worldwide and I want to celebrate that by bringing back the most popular series on my channel from last year, Accepting All Trades. I'm all decked out on my Toronto Maple Leafs gear, got my custom jersey here, my Matthews jersey over there. We're ready to go. We've got the Leafs, of course. We got to use them for the first episode, right? If you guys are new to the channel, first of all, hello, welcome to TDI Hockey. Each video in this series, I basically take control of one NHL team or maybe a custom team, and I simulate 1 year through franchise mode and try to win the Stanley Cup. The challenge here is that I have to accept every single trade offer that the AI throws my way. We've got one notable new face on the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. I think looking back to one of my older Accepting All Trades videos, you guys were getting on me in the comments how I jokingly predicted that the Leafs would get John Tavares. The age of John Tavares is gone, apparently, in New York in this game. Might happen in real life too. Hashtag John Tavares to Toronto. And here we are. So let's see if we can go and win the Stanley Cup with the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first year while accepting all trades. If you're excited that the series is making its return to NHL 19, hit the video up with a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. So got the Toronto Maple Leafs here. A couple new things to look at. The arena is now the Scotiabank Arena, which I'm not too fond of. Will always be the Air Canada Centre in my heart. And our top player has been replaced. John Tavares is here, Austin Matthews, and Freddie Anderson at number 3. So we're going to fix a little bit of these settings here. Owner mode's off, we don't care about budgets. The salary capping I'm going to turn off just so that the possibilities of trades is a lot wider and a lot broader. CPU trades can obviously trade with each other. We're going to turn morale off because I didn't really like how that impacted my players just in 1 year. One of the new features in NHL 19 and franchise mode is this fog of war system where basically it'll hide attributes of players unless you scout them. Edit lines we're going to be fine with, and free agents we won't even get to that point because it's just a 1 year sim. In the series we usually turn injuries off just because I don't want some freak injury hindering our performance. I just want the series to be each team at their very best, battling it out for the cup. So that's why we're keeping injuries off. Trade difficulty, we're of course going to put it on hard. In order to keep things simple in this video, I'm going to keep Fog of War on like I mentioned, but I'm going to hide all of these so that they need to be scouted in order for me to see this information. But I don't want to have to manage my scouts all the time, especially if it's just a 1 year sim. So I'm going to turn the auto scouting to both so that the CPU will assign all scouts automatically to both NHL and AHL players. And that is about it. We are all ready to go in this series, guys. But before we do, I want to pose a question to you guys. How do you think the Leafs will do in this season? Do you think they'll make the playoffs? Will they miss the playoffs? Or will they go all the way and win the Stanley Cup? Let me know in the poll above. All right, so we're in here with the trade block, and I'm going to kind of walk you guys through quickly how I set this up. What I do is I put the top valued player of each position on the trade block. So the specific assets, we're putting our highest value forward, in this case is Austin Matthews, our highest value defenseman, which is Timothy Liljegren, and then the highest value goalie is of course Freddie Anderson. In terms of surplus, anything and everything is on the table. Players, any position, and picks, any kind, any year. In terms of wants, because we want to win the cup, we don't want the computer just offering us draft picks that will be useless in exchange for our best players. I'm keeping draft picks off the table in terms of what we want in return, and what we want as players will be, again, any position between 17 and 35 years of age and at least 78 overall. So I hope that, guys, makes sense. It's worked wonders all last year, and so we're going to run with it again this year. So we fiddled around with the lineup just a little bit just to kind of mimic what I think the lines are going to be for the Leafs this year. So we got William Nylander, Austin Matthews, and Zach Hyman, so that that first line that we were running all year should be intact to start. Then we got Marner, John Tavares, and Patrick Marleau on the second line. That is going to be a disgusting line. Our depth is kind of hurting just a little bit with Johnson and Brown on the wings, but Kadri is a very solid third line center. And at the bottom, we got Josh Juris, a new pickup, Kasperi Kapanen at center, and Tyler Ennis, the new pickup as well. Now on D, I'm not sure if these combos are going to be there in real life, but this is kind of what I'm comfortable with to start the year for this video. Riley and Zaitsev, Gardner and Carrick, and Dermott and Hainsey. So Riley's obviously our centerpiece there. Zaitsev and Gardner are also not bad in this game. Carrick and Dermott are two promising young prospects, and Hainsey at the back, the old vet, 37 years old, holding down the fort. And then, of course, we've obviously got Freddie at 88 overall in there. He's our star, and McElhaney backing us up. So those will be the lines to start the year, and looking at our division, it's a competitive one. Teams like Boston and Tampa, who are already established as contenders like us. We've also got up-and-coming teams like Buffalo, and that's it, I guess. We should be a lock to at least make the playoffs, especially in this division, but you never know, anything can happen. Let's jump into the sim. So how it'll work in this video is I'll simulate through about 2 months at a time. We don't want to go too far in advance and get stuck, and I want to be able to make some changes to the lineup after trades happen, etc. So I think 1 or 2 months at a time should be good to start. So let's do it here. We'll go through to November 30th and let the trades roll in. All right, so through the first 2 months and not a single trade in sight, but the team is doing pretty damn well. We're tied with Boston for second place in the Atlantic Division, just 2 points back of Tampa Bay. We've got a decent cushion above Buffalo as well, 5 points. I mean, it's early in the season, but that's a promising start. Team leader in points is actually our second line left winger, William Nylander. He is a point per game, which is great for him. A lot of assists, not too many goals. But, you know, I'm hoping that Matthews and Tavares are not far behind. I really don't see any changes that need to be made up until this point. So let's just keep rolling, keep winning, and we should be good. Yeah, thanks, Pro Scout. I mean, my surpluses and wants are pretty open. So it might just be the draft picks that we don't want in return that may be hurting these trade offers. But it's kind of a waste of time, though. If we accept draft picks in this video, we won't even be able to get to use them because it's just a 1-year sim, right? So we're not going to edit the trade block. We're just going to hope and pray that some trades roll in. Really, another 2 months down and not a single trade. And we've kind of started slipping a little bit. Montreal's leapfrogged us, although we do have 2 games on hand. But we are 6 points back of first place Boston now, so it's a tight race at the top. We're definitely not out of it by any means. It looks like our division is the strongest in the East. Johnny T is taken over as team leader in points, 49 games, 45 points, almost 30 goals already, so that is awesome to see. We're going to sim right up to the trade deadline here, and if we don't get any trades, this could be a very awkward episode. Yes, there we go, and it's a biggie! Oh my god, dude. Freddie Anderson, our top goalie, is going out the door, but we're getting another Toronto boy, Tyler Seguin. He wants to come home now to Toronto, and Cody Franzen also wants to come back and poke his head in around the Leafs decor. So holy crap, it was worth the wait for that trade. That is nutty, dude. Let's see if we can make some tweaks to the trade block just to bring on maybe 1 more trade. So we got Seguin, which means we probably don't need any more forwards. But we could use a pending UFA to help us build our team and for the playoffs anyways. With 1 day left to the trade deadline, let's see if that made any difference at all or if it was just a complete waste of time. Waste of time it is. Looking at our standings here, 74 points. Again, decent cushion above 5th place, so if we keep up the pace we're on, we should make the playoffs. Tavares is still leading our team in points, but the challenge in this video will be to prevent goals, and our goaltending is hurting now. I mean, our forwards, we can score at will, it seems, but our defense and our goaltending still suspect, so we gotta see like MacLeod or Sparks step up. I mean, you can't really complain about this lineup though. The coach made some changes, which, you know, I'll leave at this point, because he seems stubborn. But it'll be Nylander, Tavares, and Marner on the first line. Marleau, Seguin, and Matthews on the second line. Brown, Kadri, Hyman on the third. That's a gritty but skilled third line. And then Juris, Kapanen, and Levo on the fourth. So that really hasn't changed at all, although it seems the coach likes Levo more than Tyler Ennis. Defense hasn't really changed at all in terms of the players. I mean, the coach has shuffled them around a bit, so I mean, I won't complain too much. Cody Franz is back on the team, but he hasn't seen the ice, I assume. And our goalies are Calvin Pickard and McElhaney. I forgot we got Pickard, and we have Sparks, so Sparks should still be tearing up the AHL. We got to rely on Pickard and McElhaney, who will likely share 50-50 of the games to take us through to the playoffs and, yeah, hopefully win a cup. But with no more trades happening, we just have to sim through to the rest of the season here and see if we can keep up our record, our points, and keep ourselves in a playoff race. Whoa, 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 whoa. Here we are just grinding through the season. 2-1, 4-0, 3-1. Some close games, some close losses, some shutout wins. Nothing out of the ordinary. 11-1 win over Philadelphia. I guess in JVR won't be too happy about that. We're already in April. Last game of the season against Montreal. This is a biggie. We take the dub. Regular season has ended and we've made the playoffs. We're going up against Tampa Bay. As we do in every video before we get into the playoff simulation, we got to summarize what happened in the season and see how we did so well. So in the Atlantic Division, we actually finished in 4th. Okay. It was a close race. Tampa finished 101. Montreal. Imagine that. Although I don't think the roster updated, so Pacioretty was still probably on the team. Apologies about that. I forgot. But Boston came tied with them as well. And we finished 2 points ahead of Buffalo, so we almost finished 5th in the division. The entire conference, Washington was at the top as well. Columbus climbed out of their hole. They had a pretty bad record when I checked on them at the beginning of the season, but they battled back. And Pittsburgh just squeaked out that last playoff spot. All right, looking in the West. Oh my God. I've been saying on my live streams, follow me on Twitch if you haven't already, twitch.tv/TDIHOCKey. People have been asking me in the chat who I think will win the cup this year. And I've been saying Winnipeg, and if they do anywhere close to as well as they did this season, it looks promising. 121 points, almost 60 wins. That's unheard of. Anaheim Ducks, only 17 points behind them. The Sharks, Flames, Coyotes, what? Okay, and the Golden Knights squeak out that last playoff spot. I kind of figured that since we don't have one real superstar, we have like 4 or 5, that the points would kind of be evenly spread out across the team, and that's exactly what happened. So Seguin, our new addition, welcome home, buddy. 76 points, 35 goals. Tavares with almost 50, almost 45, 44 goals, 29 assists, 73 points. Marner with a nice amount of points as well. Nylander, Matthews, so there's our big 5 right there, and they all, actually Matthews, that's very disappointing. Going from like a 40-goal season to a 9-goal season is absolutely ridiculous. On D, Riley, of course, got the most points. Gardner second, and then the other guys had a pretty negligible impact. Kind of sucks that we can't see Anderson's stats for our team this season because he did play most of our games. But we'll just look at what we got here. So Pickard, 17, 12, 2, and 4. Not terrible. Save percentage is very good. Goals against, a little high. And McElwain, he only played 7 games. Lost most of them. Terrible numbers. This is going to be tricky in the playoffs. Looking at the entire league now, Ovi is not slowing down at all. He got 60 goals. Good for 96 points. McKinnon had another great year, 44, 41, 85 points. Kuzi, 81, but that's surprising. Only 2 players above point per game this season, which is very surprising. So keeping that in mind, Seguin actually had a very good season. Kaner, Crosby's nowhere to be found. Wow! Wow! All right, there's a little consolation for you Islanders fans. Barzal, best Tavares by 1 point. So, I mean, hey, maybe you guys don't even need him anymore. There's a name that's not really showing up. Sidney Crosby. Real quick, can you explain why Jason Zucker had more points than you this season? Maybe I should ask EA Sports. But really, don't know what to think about that, but we'll just move on to the defenseman. Brent Burns, 80 points, absolutely tore it up. Carlson was 65, and he looks like a Pirate more than I've ever seen. John Carlson was 61, Klingberg, Barry, Doughty, Jones, Hedman, Pietrangelo. So no surprises right off the bat. And goalies, we usually filtered by minimum 30 games to see kind of who actually had the best realistic stats, not like 3 games, 3 shutouts. So Hellebuck had an amazing year. I don't even really need to look at anybody else. He's pretty much a lock for the Vezina already. 46 wins, 6 shutouts, 931 save percentage. I thought McElwain's stats were good. And a goals against of almost 2. So yeah, that's an easy lock. But it should note that I was right. That Carey Price did carry Montreal to the playoffs. 36 wins, 11 shutouts. And there's Freddie, actually. So I'd say most of these games were with us, so it kind of hurts to see him way up there with those good numbers. 917 save percentage, 238. Actually, those numbers aren't that great. It's just the wins that did him pretty well, and he got most of those with the Leafs. So you're welcome, Freddie. And as always, we look at the playoff tree, see what the matchups are. Blues, Wild, typical first-round matchup. Jets, Knights, a rematch of the conference finals now happening in the first round. That should be a good one. Sharks, Flames, and Ducks, Coyotes. So some kind of new matchups there. We got the Jackets, Penguins. As always, it's a good one. Caps versus Sabres. All right, that should be interesting. That could happen as soon as next year. Montreal versus Boston, of course we need to see that, and Tampa versus Toronto. Should be a high-scoring affair. So although the volume of trades was lacking a little bit, the quality was there, and what happened this season was absolutely nutty. So let's see if we can continue that in the playoffs and have a good run. We usually sim through the first 3 games and then make any changes if necessary. We take an L in game 1, and in game 2, and in game 3. God damn it. I knew that goaltending trade really hurt us. Not too much I can do, but we're trying to do our best to kind of change things up a little bit here, at least squeak out a first win and then get the ball rolling. So we got Marner, Tavares, and Hyman on the first, Nylander, Sagan, and Marlowe on the second, Kapanen, Matthews, Brown on the third, and then Juris, Kadri, and Levo on the fourth. So our center depth is going to be off the charts. We have at least one great player on each of our 4 lines. Not too much we can do on D other than just switching up the pairings a little bit. Riley's up to 88 overall, so that's good. We'll try putting McElhaney in, see if he can steal a few games. Down 3-0 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're up against the wall here. We need to pull out the win. Let's go into this game and see what happens. The shot's pretty even early. We're getting some power plays, just not capitalizing. End of 1, 0-0. It's okay, but not great. We need to get the lead before the third. I want to be comfortable going into that final period. Come on, with all these superstars on our lineup, we get beat. Why is Pickard in net? Pickard gets his corner picked by Andy Andrioff, and we're 1 period away from a first-round exit. There we go, Austin, baby, on the third line, beats Vasilevsky. That is the big swing right there. Kucherov answers back from the frickin' boards, and that might be the difference. The goaltending, Vasilevsky over Pickard. 36 shots on. Well, I mean, we probably deserve to lose this series. Maybe not swept like we just got, but a very disappointing performance overall. Sends the Leafs packing after 1 round against Tampa. I mean, the season ended as quickly as it began. We get swept in that first round, and now we can kind of just sit back, sulk, and wait until the Stanley Cup champion is crowned. After that ridiculous President's Trophy season, I wouldn't be surprised if Winnipeg lifts their first cup in franchise history. Hey, there it is. Oh my God. Okay, you know what? That's a little bit better. It's a little more comforting. The Tampa Bay Lightning, who we got swept by in the first round, goes on to win the Stanley Cup. Tampa made absolutely quick work of all their opponents. They only lost 2 games in the entire playoffs. They swept us, then they swept Boston, then they won a 5-gamer over Columbus and an easy 5-gamer over Winnipeg. And last but not least, we will look through the awards and see who raised some trophies this season. Ovi, once again, wins the Art Ross Trophy. It's been a while, though. He actually dethrones Connor McDavid, who I don't even remember seeing on the stats page when we were checking it. So he might have had a worse season than Crosby. Ovi wins the Hart as well. Norris goes to Burns, who had the most points. Lady Bing goes to Kaner. Calder goes to Casey Middlestat, who is probably a good shout. Him or Dahlin. They could have 2 Calder Trophy finalists this year in real life with Middlestat and Dahlin. Conn Smythe goes to Vasilevsky. Yep, he was solid all playoffs, especially against us. Vezina goes to Hellebuck. Easy call there. Jennings goes to Price, who carried the Montreal Canadiens to the playoffs. Masterton to Johnny B. Bergeron Trophy goes to its owner once again. And the Ted Lindsay goes to Ovi for a great year. We only made 1 trade in this episode, so I'm going to try and figure out how to facilitate more trades before next episode. But guys, it's going to be a multi-year episode. We're going to do at least 1 draft using that fog of war. We'll focus more on scouting. It's going to be an interesting episode. Hope you guys are ready for it. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Drop a like on this video if you've enjoyed it. And until next episode, guys, I'll see you then.